When will I wake up? I recently wrote an article for my blog, and I wrote about what it feels like to be awake. And I heard back from some people saying things like, that sounds really lovely, and I can't wait for that to happen. Things like that, like, I know someday it's going to happen. I just have to stay on the right path. And I want to clear up any misunderstanding about waking up, and more importantly, about who wakes up. Because it's really hard to understand when we'll awaken if we don't have a good foundation of understanding for who it is or what wakes up. And this is something that I didn't understand for a long time. Having begun a spiritual path back in my mid to late 20s, a long time ago, I thought for decades that this is what kept evolving. That there would be physical shifts as the energy was increasing, mentally there would be shifts. So basically I thought that the person, the body-mind, would keep evolving and keep dealing with issues around the egoic structure. And with enough work and enough spiritual practice like meditation and contemplation and reflection and journaling and all of that, that eventually I would wake up. And then finally, it dawned on me after I had an energetic, a Kundalini awakening, that even though the body was going through changes then, and it is evolving, the body does evolve, our humanity does evolve, that this isn't really where the awakening happens. So I want to get into that. And the best way, I think, to describe this is to use the example, as I've used before, of you dreaming. So say you're dreaming about being at an ashram in India. Say you're at 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐂𝐑𝐈𝐏𝐍𝐿, you're at an ashram, and you're going through satsang, and you're really wanting to awaken. You want to experience enlightenment. This is something that you've been wanting for a very long time. You're dreaming about that. So you, the dreamer, you're lying in bed, you're having this dream about being in India, and then the dream is over. Now, who wakes up in that dream? Does your dream character, who is dreaming that believes it's in India, having this experience with satsang, does that character wake up? No, the dreamer can't wake up. It's just the dream character can't wake up. It's just a character. So that aspect cannot wake up. It's the dreamer with the capital D. You are the divine dreamer having this experience. And the character that you play in dream time isn't really any different than the character that you're playing during your waking life. They're both characters. The character that you're playing in your waking life was conditioned from the very beginning. It was conditioned and taught that it had a certain personality and a certain family history, and there's certain patterns that were programmed into you. And this is not to blame anybody, but there was just layer upon layer upon layer of conditioning that was built into you. And this comes from family, it comes from society, it comes from the education realm. It comes from everyone whose paths you cross. There's conditioning happening constantly. And so this character that has a specific personality and has specific preferences, it likes and dislikes, beliefs and values and judgments and perceptions, that aspect, that character that you believe that you are, never ever wakes up. And when I finally got it, it was a game changer. I finally realized, oh my God, this is never going to wake up. This is part of the dream. And I had studied spiritual paths that spoke to this, but for some reason I wasn't getting it. So it's really important that we understand who's waking up. The you that you think you are isn't going to wake up. But the divine spark of awareness that you are, the God spark that you are, is what wakes up, because that is what put itself to sleep so it could have this experience within the finite. The body's part of the finite. The personality is part of the finite. Your relationships are all part of the finite. Nothing is going to last for very long in the finite, but an aspect wanted to have this experience. So your divine being that you are, and we all share that one divine being, we're all part of that collective, wanted to have this experience. And so it put itself to sleep to have this experience, because the infinite and the finite do not intersect. It's not like the infinite being that you are comes into the finite and is having this experience. It's a dream experience. It's a dream experience. So it's really important to remember that as you stay on this path, you're going to be getting glimpses. You probably already have. You probably wouldn't even be watching this if you hadn't gotten some significant glimpses of your true nature, your divine being along the way. What happens is we have all this conditioning that we've been carrying around for a lifetime, and then there be these cracks to where your divine being can break through those cracks. And once it does that, just one time that it does that, and it gets a look around what's at itself. This is all itself. Everything is pure consciousness. This is all divine being. Everything that you see behind me in this room, this is all divine being having this experience. Once it gets a look at itself and it thinks, oh, that's what I am, then it keeps waking up. So that one glimpse is like when in The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy threw water on the Wicked Witch. Once she threw water on the Wicked Witch, once the water touched the fabric of the Wicked Witch, she began to melt. What is the Wicked Witch? She's the ego. She's fear. She was a fear monger at its worst. She represents separation and control and all the things of the egoic structure. So once you have that glimpse, it's like the water, which represents transformation, purification, but really transformation. Once that glimpse happens, it will continue to open and deepen. So that's how the awakening happens. Now, can you help the awakening process along? Absolutely. And there's two ways to do it, and they can happen simultaneously. One is you stop feeding. The egoic structure likes to be fed. So you stop feeding the reactions. You stop feeding your emotional highs and lows. You stop feeding your preferences. Start looking through the lens of neutrality. You stop getting caught up in thinking that the next experience, the next trip, the next new endeavor, the next whatever is going to make you happy. You don't buy into that any longer. And there will come a time where that doesn't work for you at all anymore. At the same time, you feed the divine spark that you are. You rest as pure divine awareness. We just relax right into it. That's our pure being. And we can't really do both. So as you're pulling back on feeding the egoic structure, you're feeding the divine nature that you truly are. And there will come a time, because this does take some time. It doesn't happen all at once. As the glimpses get longer and longer, then there's this unraveling from the egoic structure, all those conditions, those patterns that have been laid down mentally, it had been laid down in the emotional body, it had been laid down in the physical body. As we unwind from all of that, these glimpses get bigger and deeper. And then there comes a time where the desire, this strong, huge desire just to abide in the divine presence that you are, takes over. And you won't have to work at it any longer. I do not have to make myself focus on the divine being that I am. It's an ongoing focus, desire. It's like there's this magnetic pull of my heart where that's what I think about all the time. It doesn't matter where I am. It could be in the middle of the night or during the day. I am always focusing on the divine within myself and around me. It happens naturally. So pure contentment will happen, and it will stay as you keep integrating the awakening, keep moving through the awakening process. Genuine joy. You don't have to do anything to have it. It's effortless. It's your natural state. Happiness, deep, profound peace. These are the essences of your true nature. So we don't look to the world anymore. We don't look to a relationship or to a job or money or security or any of that stuff anymore, because we're so fulfilled from within. And we know that we're taken care of because we're focusing on that divine spark that we are. We do need to give it our attention. And at the same time, we're withdrawing our attention. We're not feeding the egoic patterns that will continue to come up as the awakening deepens and as the integration takes place. Some of the conditioning will still come up for a while. You might still feel like a separate body for a while, but you'll notice, I mean, this will keep happening day in and day out. The awakening becomes stronger and stronger and stronger until that's all you know. And you're wide awake. So you are that divine God spark. That's what we are. We're pure, unconditional love. Even if our behavior doesn't attest to that, we are. When we're not behaving lovingly, I remember Course in Miracles, it always made so much sense. It said everything is either love or a call for love. So when we are not behaving in a loving way, that's okay. We have temporarily forgotten who we are. And other people, same thing. They have forgotten who they are. That doesn't mean that we're not love. And it doesn't mean that they're not love. We are love. We are love. You are love. Thank you and namaste.